Hi, this is Rico Figliolini, host of Petrie Corner's Life and Atlanta Anime and Gaming. We're at the Anime Weekend Atlanta. This is Brandon Winckler.
Hi.
Hey, Brandon.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, of course.
Appreciate it. So we're going to learn a bit more about voiceover actors and just in general about Brandon here, about what he does and what he's been doing in his beginnings of his career.
Yeah.
You look like a young guy. So
Oh, yeah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah. No, I'm pushing, I'm 29, so close to 30.
Okay,
We're getting close to the
Yes.
big 3-0,
All right,
you know.
there he goes. He's going to go over that edge.
Yep.
Now, you originally you grew up in Chesapeake, Virginia?
Yeah, I grew up in Virginia, just a few states up. Grew up there and eventually moved to New York in like 2015, yeah. And then in 2017, I moved to Los Angeles. So I've been in Los Angeles for maybe about 5 years now. So, yeah.
And growing up in Chesapeake, did you have any thoughts about what you wanted to be? What grade? Or were you already graduated?
So I went to Portsmouth Christian School in Portsmouth, Virginia, and that's where I graduated high school in 2011. And so I didn't really know. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. I wanted to be in entertainment, but I wanted to more pursue the music route of things.
Okay.
So I had no plans on being an actor, like, out the gate.
What instruments did you play?
I played guitar, piano, anything I could get my hands on, really, drums. Just really enjoyed performing in general. I sang a lot, you know. And so I studied music in college. I went to Liberty University for like a year, left. It wasn't quite my jive. And then I went to a community college out in Chesapeake. And so I continued to study music there. And then eventually, since I had all that studio equipment, I had a mic, I had like a place to like record that was nice, you know, my room, my closet. I started diving into voiceover because I was a big anime fan. I was a big, cartoon fanatic, still am to this day. And it got to the point where I was just watching shows, and one day it just kind of clicked that, wait a minute, like, these people do this for a living, and I could probably do it if I wanted to. Again, I had no plans on being, like, professional.
Right.
I was just going to do it for fun. You know, I was surrounded by people online that were, like, so much more serious than I was about it. They were like, I've been acting my entire life. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, you know. So I was constantly, like, in that shadow, and I was like, oh, man, I'm, like, really nervous, you know. Like I hope I can, like, hold a candle to them, you know. And, like, it's funny because, you know, looking back, you know, and those people, you know, all, you know, they went on to, like, do different things. You know, and then I'm the one that like was like, yeah, you know, I'm blessed enough to say that I do this full time now. So it's.
Well, what was the first step then that you took? I mean, you got to the point where you wanted to do it, and then what was the?
So the turning point, I got a job as a flight attendant with United Airlines in New York, because I really needed a job. Like, I was so poor, like I was like just constantly struggling to pay rent, and my mom was like, yeah, you know, maybe you should, like, apply for an airline job. And I was like, well, that'd be cool. You get to travel, you know, you get those benefits. And so, funny enough, I applied for Delta down here.
Okay.
Yeah, so I came down here for an interview, and I had an interview for, like, a bag boy position. And I didn't get it. And I was like, how did I not get a bag boy position?
You came down here for that interview?
Yeah, and they flew me back up as they told me no. So it was wonderful. But no, and then I got an interview with United Airlines over in Newark, New Jersey area. And so I flew up there, had a great time, and got the job. And I ended up moving to New York, and that's where I was based for like 2 or 3 years. Right. And so because of that, I was still doing voiceover as a hobby. It was nothing real. I was just kind of like doing like fan stuff here and there, like making my own stuff really. Okay. Because nobody wanted to put me in their stuff because it was just kind of like.
So what were you doing? Taking anime and just doing the English voice?
Yeah, kind of making my own stuff, making like audio dramas, things that people would never see, you know. But I enjoyed doing it, so I just kept doing it, and. It was fun, and it got to the point where when I moved to New York, my mom was like, hey, you know, have you ever thought about doing it professionally? I was like, I mean, yeah, but I can't do it. I can't do it. Like,
You didn't
all these
see-
other people can do
right.
it, but not me,
You didn't see yourself doing it.
Yeah, I didn't see myself doing it. But then one night, I was like, you know what? It couldn't hurt. So I made a demo, and one night, I just improv something, and I mixed something together, and I shot it out to a bunch of studios in New York.
Different voices in that demo reel.
Yep, just different things. Like, I could play, like, I was like, well, I can play, like, really young characters. And, like, I booked this Green Goblin, role in a Marvel video game. And I was like, yeah, I mean, if I think I can do it. So, I made a demo in one night, shot it out. And then since then, it was like, people started biting, and people were, like, really receptive, and I was really grateful because people started bringing me in for auditions. And
So you just picked and choose places to send it to. You didn't have any connections or anything.
Thinking back, I did all the legwork myself. I just looked up, like, these studios, like, names, and I looked up the casting people, and I would just send a really nice email, and I was like, hey, so I really enjoy your work. I would love to, like, give working for you a shot. Like, here's what I've done, and I make my own stuff a lot of the time, but I still think, like, I can fill a niche.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember my very first anime audition ever was for the Pokemon series, and so I went into Duart in New York, and that's back when they had Pokemon. They don't have it anymore. It's out in Los Angeles now with SDI. But so I met Lisa Ortiz, and it was right when the Pokemon art style was changing, right after X and Y. It was for Sun and Moon, and so I auditioned for a few characters, and they had me dub, and I was like, this is what I want to do. Like, there was no more question after that. Like, after that moment in particular, like, I got to sit down in a studio with the casting director and see how the process was, and everybody was so friendly, and, like, I was like, nope, I want to do this, like, forever if I can,
Cool.
And so I just kept pushing and pushing and pushing, and I eventually started to book, and so now I'm sitting here with you now.
No, this is cool.
Yeah.
So you're the one that you're known for right now is Eugeo, right?
Yeah, Eugeo, Sword Art Online, yeah.
So is that exciting doing that? I mean, what?
Oh, I loved playing Eugeo. Yeah. So when I booked Eugeo, I was in the infancy of, like, my acting career. I think I had only been doing it professionally 2 years, and the roles were sparse. It wasn't like, oh, I'm booking. It was like, I'm booking. 6 months later, I might book.
Okay.
6 months after that, okay. So
Were you still flying the airlines at that point?
So Eugeo, yeah, actually, I think I had just, like, finished up that job. Like, I had finally, like, quit because I was working on 3 different lead roles at the time, and it was a very fast, like, roller coaster, because a lot of people do, like, little bit roles starting out, and then they do their leads. For me, it was nothing, little thing, nothing, lead role, and I was like, whoa, because I didn't have, like, proper training at that time. Like, I didn't take a lot of acting classes. Like, I was running on, like, pure instinct. And what I love about SAO is working with, like, Alex Von David. Like, he's the English voice director and the writer. He was awesome and really patient with me, and I was constantly going through the state of, like, I can't do this, I'm not good at this, like, oh crap, I'm bad, but he just kept pushing and there was one day I would rush through my lines, and trip and fumble, and, like, all of our sessions were taking, like, 4 hours, which is not great, if you're trying to get through an episode, and I turn around and Alex Von David, bless this man's heart, he was like, so you're the only one who can play this character. And I was like, yeah. And he's like, so you got to figure this out.
Oh, that was cool of him.
And I'm like, yes, sir. So we had 2 weeks off, and so I just took those 2 weeks, and I like started doing, like, speech therapy stuff, that I could find online, because I was tripping over my words. I had really bad, like, dyslexia. I still do, and it's funny because that paired with ADHD, absolute chaos in my brain 24/7, having to focus and do dubbing, like, insane. You know, so I did that, and like I just forced myself to slow down and like calm myself down and tell myself like, yeah, you can do this. Like if he believes in you, like you can believe in yourself a bit
So
too.
miraculously,
Yeah.
back 2 weeks later.
So I come back 2 weeks later. We do the session. It's a breeze. It's like the
Not 4
easiest
hours?
session. Yeah, not 4 hours. Like we finished early, and he comes in the booth and he's like, "Hey, Brandon, come over here really fast." And I'm like, "Okay, oh gosh, he's gonna like, you know, chew me out or something. Oh no!" And he just hugs me, and he's like, "Way to go!" And I'm like, "Yes!" It's so cool. Yeah, no, and so. Playing a character like Eugeo, you know, he starts off really insecure and like he's literally frozen in his steps, you know, and as he grows, he breaks out of that. He breaks out of the taboo index, and you know, he breaks through the walls that are put in front of him, and it just is something that I related to really hard. And you know, that's when I really came into my own as an actor. And then after that, it just influenced me to work harder and harder. So
Well, I appreciate you talking to us about it. We've done like, this is Anime Week in Atlanta, and we've done interviews with, you're the third voiceover actor.
Oh, cool.
And everyone has their own story. So
Yeah.
appreciate you sharing that with us.
Of course.
Thank you so much.
yeah,
Brandon?
dude, super great meeting
So we've been
you. Yeah.
talking with Brandon Winckler. Thank you everyone for listening.
Yeah.